welcome to the Orange Flag Podcast, and welcome to the off-season. I'm Nicole.
I'm Aries.
And I'm Auston. And we're going to jump straight into testing because I went to testing. One of the perks of living in Florida is that you can just drive to Daytona whenever you want, and you can just go to testing. So I did that. I went specifically to the 4th session. A month without race cars was too long, so I just had to go and hear race cars again. My thoughts and opinions are this. MSR, keep the liveries that you're using for testing, okay? They're way better than last year's, minus last year's Daytona liveries. They're way better than your, full-time last year liveries, so just keep them. Don't change it. Also, the caddy had to do a double take, because obviously it sounds the same, so, it drove past, and I was like, that's the caddy. Looked, and I was like, that's not the caddy. So, it's gonna take some getting used to, for sure. But, yeah. Also, Manti being there was great. All the different liveries, it was fun to see. Going to testing was fun. It was a vibe. Apparently, we're gonna do a loophole here. I've now decided for the streak that we talk about, we're gonna somehow, I guess, just make it anytime we go to a track and PPM is present in some way.
We meaning you, because I went to COTA last year and they were not on the podium, so yes. We meaning you.
And we're gonna scratch the PPM aspect of it, okay? And we're gonna make it just 963. Or, I guess, actually, more specifically...
It's the most convoluted thing in the world. By the way, it went from any time we are at a race together, PPM is on the podium, and then it became, anytime you're at a race, PPM is on the podium, and then it's, 963s.
Well, actually, I've found the, link through all of them that isn't 963 related, and it's really just anytime I'm at a track, if Matt Campbell's in the car or the lineup, the car does finish in the top 3. And that's because Banana Boat finished top of the times for the 4th session. So that's the new streak, I guess.
Absolute bananas.
I mean, it's fitting, it's fitting. There was some news that came out about Manti, and that's that Para has signed with Manti and is going to be doing 3 programs next year. I thought all of us were convinced that he wasn't returning, and then this.
There was legitimate news sites were reporting that he was going to go to Ferrari.
Yeah,
it was just a done deal that Ricky Para was going to leave Porsche and leave Manti and go to Ferrari. I forget who reported it, but it was pretty reputable people were saying that.
Yes.
And it was interesting in his announcement too. He made it very clear that he is not getting a Porsche contract. Yeah. He said he has signed a contract as a Manti driver. So, because there's obviously a huge distinction there. He is very clearly saying, as of right now, that could be kind of backdoor hinting that he's getting a Porsche contract, but as of right now, this contract is with Manti, not with Porsche.
Yeah.
So...
It was definitely one where, as I was reading it, I was like, this is very intentionally worded the way it was worded.
It was interesting.
It was interesting. It did also mean he was at testing. And all I'm saying is the testing lineup of Hardwick, Para, and Preining is a great lineup if they want to use it.
Yeah, and so the thing... I don't know if I mentioned this last week. I don't think I did. But, Ryan Hardwick liked a bunch of people's tweets and Instagram comments talking about the fact that Preining was going to be his teammate, in the car with him. And the more I think about it, the more that I'm like, well, maybe he was just liking those either because he runs a bot or because he was just liking all of the replies. Because I just don't buy that Thomas Preining, the current Grello driver,
Yeah.
is not going to be in the Grello. Like, even if Kevin doesn't do British GT or Formula E or whatever I come up with tomorrow for Kevin to do, like, even if he is in the Grello, I think Preining would still be in the Grello. So, I just think he was the best available Manti driver to shake the car down. Because he did a ton of driving in a Manti run 911 last year. Like, yes, I think I would have thought it was cool if Kevin was doing it, but he definitely drove that car, or one of the, because like the DTM Grello is obviously different setup wise than the NLS one,
Yeah.
but Preining also drove in the Nürburgring 24 hours. Like, yes, Kevin did the 2 qualifier races, but Preining still drove that car, drove a Manti-prepared 911 more than anybody else, so he does make sense as the guy to test it, but I also think he makes sense as the guy to race it. But Ryan did say at Petit that Porsche had some fast guys they were considering for his teammate. So, like, did we even actually, like, talk about... I don't think we did, because he kind of gave us the impression we shouldn't talk about, like, the IMSA car. But
Yeah.
now that, like, it has been out on the track and tested, I feel like we can talk about it.
Okay.
So, we talked to Ryan Hardwick for, like, a decent amount of time at Petit Le Mans, like, the day that the announcement about the Manti cars and that one of them was going to be a first form car came out. And we were like, so, do you know who your teammate's going to be? Like, do you get a say in that? Does Porsche pick that? And he said, like, no, Porsche picks that. He'll know sometime in November, which would play into it could be Preining.
Yes.
But that all he knew was the people they were considering are really fast drivers. So, like, it could be Preining. It could be Tandy. It could be Pile. Like, those are all, you know, guys that have a history with Manti that are fast in a 911.
Yeah.
So,
it also wouldn't surprise me if for testing they, like, took a guy, like, split it almost, and it's like one of the Grello guys and Preining is going to be in the Grello, and then the other 2 guys are in the other car. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if it was a situation like that, too.
I think it's really obvious that Ricky and Ryan are going to be together.
Yes.
Like that pairing is staying together, but who their gold/platinum driver is going to be is definitely up in the air. Maybe it will be Kevin. I have not put Kevin into the first form car yet. Kevin is just going to do GTD normal. That's my new solution for Kevin. Kevin's not going to be in the 963. Kevin's not going to be in the Grello. Kevin is going to do GTD normal.
Hey.
It's more realistic.
Gotta have options.
I love how many different ideas I have come up with for where Kevin might end up.
Hey.
You gotta have options. Where he's going.
See, this would be avoided if they all just announced what they were doing, but they haven't, so we have to come up with stuff.
Like British GT.
Yeah.
Randomest appearance ever.
I did like the guy on Twitter today who was like, I would love to see Kevin in the pouring rain at Alton Park.
Yes.
Because I would love to see that too. Like, that would be peak.
Oh yeah, it would be great.
Kevin, please tell us what you're doing. So we stop coming up with these ideas.
I feel like each and every day, or at least each and every week, it gets a bit more unhinged. And then the actual response is gonna be, oh, of course we knew it was gonna be that all along.
Yeah, but
It's
fun.
gonna be this. Let's all be real. He's gonna be at PPM and he's gonna be in the 6, but I like my British GT idea.
It's just fun to come up with, like, the most out there things. You know? Like,
way more fun.
Making realistic, wargaming, that's not as fun as just, like, the randomest thing you can think of.
I know what Kevin's going to do. Penske's gonna run a 4th car in the 500, and Kevin's going to spend the whole year doing Indy Next to prepare for the 500.
Oh my god, this wins out.
Just the children and Kevin.
This wins out. Forget everything else. This is...
I mean, he needs to improve his open wheel skills if he's gonna beat Dylan.
Hey, I've got a coach for him. Dylan, it's your turn to be the coach.
This was so very drinking game, by the way, because nothing in this... Kevin's name is not in the notes about Oz going to testing at Daytona.
The only person's names that are in the notes are, well, actually, besides the Manti guys, was Matt.
Yeah.
So...
Which is not Kevin.
It's not Kevin in any way.
So, this morning, there I was at work, and I noticed a whole bunch of Brazilian, but also Portuguese, whatever your language is called, Aries.
Whatever it's... yes, it's not Spanish, at least.
It is not,
yeah.
because they don't speak Spanish in Portugal or Brazil. But I saw a picture of Michael Fassbender and a whole bunch of, like, language that I didn't know, but then I saw it said Brazil. So I sent it to Aries, and I'm like, Aries, what is going on? And then what it turns out is Michael Fassbender is doing a Porsche Cup race in Brazil. And this is very important to us here on the Orange Flag podcast because I'm a massive Michael Fassbender fan. Like, I have watched his entire filmography, like, multiple times. I am a very big fan of his. So yes, and then there's, like, obvious other reasons some people here on this show might possibly like Michael Fassbender.
I wonder what that could be. Not 2022. Look, all I'm saying is if Michael's getting back into racing, Matt, I have a new side quest for you, and it's I'm sticking you and Michael back in a car together, and you're going and doing some random GT World Challenge, okay?
That would be awesome.
It would.
Wait. They can do British GT.
Oh my god.
I'm sticking every single Porsche driver into British GT. British GT is just gonna be like Attack of the Porsches.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what in the world is this?
Actually, what it is, guys, Pro-Am at Bathurst.
Oh, that would be good.
Just saying.
What is Michael Fassbender's FIA grading? FIA
Investigation
categorization. Driver categorization. He is a bronze! Yes! We are using him for everything!
It worked!
We are using him for absolutely everything!
Hello, tax fraud.
It works, is all I'm saying.
This is incredible. I love it. Yes, please. Michael Fassbender, be everybody's teammates in their random side quests. What if we just made the British GT car his, and, like, Kevin and Matt can cycle into the car?
I'm okay with that.
This is my plan. This is what we're doing now. I've actually, like, fleshed out the Kevin Does British GT plan because I have located him an AM driver.
Just saying, the second this popped up, I was like, we have an AM option. I'm using it.
Yes, but I am taking him for British GT to be Kevin's teammate.
Well, I'm taking him for Bathurst.
That's fine, you can have him for Bathurst, but I'm taking him for British GT because now I have an actual lineup. This is incredible.
All I'm
gonna
say
have
is
to go to England.
That's great.
maybe don't make the car green because it might end up cursed.
Possible.
Just saying.
Yeah.
2022 was a journey.
So, if you, in fact, follow us on Twitter, you may have seen that we put a call for questions out because people seem to be, getting into sports cars but still confused about stuff. So, we wanted to answer questions. So, the first question we got came from Honey, and she asked, what is the difference between WEC and IMSA license-wise? And is it the same license for both series or a different one? And are they both under the FIA? So, as we just saw or heard when I went and looked up licensing, the FIA maintains a driver categorization list, which is your bronze, silver, gold, and platinum rankings for drivers. Listen to our All About IMSA episode because we go through what all of those mean. We're not going to waste 15-20 minutes re-explaining all of the driver gradings and what the specifics about how you get them are, but as far as per series and per car, it's very different. So a new thing that IMSA just announced is for GTP and GTD Pro, if you're going to be a bronze driver, you need to get approval from the series to be in those cars. And that's new. But as far as hypercar, that's silver and above. So it is absolute in WEC that bronze drivers cannot race hypercar. They obviously can get approval in GTP and IMSA. And then LMP2 is really different between WEC and IMSA. In IMSA, one bronze driver is required, and the maximum you can have is one platinum or one gold. So, like, you can't have a bronze, a gold, and a platinum and run that as a lineup. So you could have, like, 2 bronzes or a bronze and a silver. And then in LMP2 and WEC, it is mandated that they have either a silver or a bronze. And if they have a bronze, they're considered a Pro-Am car. LMP2 also doesn't run, like, a full season or even a partial season in WEC. They just do Le Mans, so it's like a one-off thing. And they have the Pro-Am winner, so you can not be the first LMP2 car across the line, but still win Le Mans if you have a bronze driver. That's what happened with Spike. They won Pro-Am. So if you have a silver, you're not Pro-Am, you're just normal LMP2. If you have a bronze, you're considered Pro-Am. In GTD, in IMSA, your really main rule is that you can only have a maximum of 1 platinum or gold driver, so you can't run like a mostly pro lineup. And then in LMGT3 in WEC, you have to have both a bronze and a silver in the car. So that again is like a very truly Pro-Am lineup because you have a bronze driver in the car.
Yeah, all of this is...
That's the answer to that one. Hopefully that made sense. It is a little complicated.
Oh yeah.
It's not super easy to explain.
Especially if you're like just landed into this new universe, basically, and you're trying to figure it all out. So we don't blame you for being confused. It happens to everybody.
Yes.
And I would say go listen to the All About IMSA episode, because we do break down what the bronze, silver, gold, and platinum mean, and like what some basic requirements to be a driver at that level are.
Yeah. I will say this, what we just talked about, is also important to consider for our next question that we're going to answer, because it does kind of play into this one as well. So our next question is from Leah. And the question is, I heard it's, in quotes, bad for some drivers to be ranked gold or platinum in endurance, especially WEC, given there are less opportunities, in quotes. Is it true? Why is that? And so there's kind of been a few very specific examples of why being a certain ranking has some pros and cons to it recently. So for this to best explain it, I felt like it was best to kind of talk about very specific examples. One of those that's kind of a reason for why you would maybe want to like appeal being upgraded. So you can be recommended to be upgraded from, for example, silver to gold, and then you can appeal that to stay silver. So Johnny Edgar, who drives in Spike and then also was in Corvette in WEC, is a perfect example of this. He was being recommended to be upgraded from silver to gold and appealed his decision so that he could stay silver. And that was very much so because of the specific programs that he runs. So with his seat in Spike, if he had been upgraded to gold, he would have lost that seat. So once he was confirmed to have his appeal, he was able to re-sign with AO as their endurance driver. In his specific case, he was the silver driver spot in WEC for Corvette. So he lost that seat because Corvette wouldn't have had that spot. They needed somebody else to be the silver spot in that car, and his appeal hadn't gotten confirmed right away. So that's kind of an example of how those upgrades and changes can really impact whether you stay in a seat or not, and how appeals really affect that too.
And like, as far as less opportunities or it being bad specifically with Johnny, you might ask, well, why wouldn't he just go into that you can be a gold or a platinum spot? Well, the problem for Spike is that there's a multi-time IMSA champion in the pro spot there. Dane
Yes.
Cameron is one of the best prototype drivers out there, and he is in that pro spot. You're not going to kick a driver of that caliber out for, yes, a very promising up-and-coming talent in Johnny Edgar, but you're not kicking Dane Cameron out of the seat for Johnny. You're just not.
Yeah. And for the specific question of the Corvette side of it, because in his car specifically, the guy they had in that gold platinum spot is leaving the car. It seems Corvette is kind of going through just like reshuffling of their lineups in general.
Driver cycling or something.
And cycling a bunch of drivers in and out of different programs throughout the kind of brand. So it more so seems like they wanted him as their silver driver. The appeal didn't come through in time for him to be able to slot back into that, and they have somebody already planned to take over that spot, and somebody already planned, it seems like, to take over that gold platinum spot as well. And then there's the case of you're going from silver to gold, and it could still work out for you. And this can be in the case of when you're really kind of associated with other drivers and programs that they run, and you have kind of stronger relationships. So Loke Hartog has been doing pretty much anything he can with Interi Zhao as his silver. And he is set to be upgraded to gold. So there is the possibility that he then does stay with Antares as more of his like gold platinum guy. He is set to stay with Antares for Asian Le Mans series as the silver in that car, and that's because there's a kind of a loophole for Asian Le Mans series. So it's a series that kind of is divided by years. So like it's 2025 and 2026. So they go based off what you wore ranked for 2025. So since Loke is ranked right now silver for that series, despite the fact that he will eventually upgrade to gold, he will be silver for that. So he's keeping his spot in that car as the silver. There is the possibility, because of his relationship with Antares, he could possibly stay with him despite getting that upgrade. So that's kind of situations where an upgrade can still kind of work in your favor. Another one is kind of gold versus platinum. One of the examples for this, you're going to notice a lot of these are Porsche connected as we go on. At least these two are. Fashion Boost was gold. He's now being upgraded to platinum. Truly for him and what his program is expected to be, because nothing's been confirmed, it doesn't really seem like that's going to affect his opportunities much. There's not really a huge difference between gold versus platinum in the cases of what he's doing, where that upgrade is detrimental for him. There are certain things where, like, for certain categories within series that he does, that he could no longer do specific, like, categories within it because of now being a platinum, but really he's not being hindered quite as much as some other guys by doing a gold to platinum upgrade.
It's kind of because those, like, gold and platinum are both full professional drivers. Like, fully, genuinely professional guys. Platinum drivers are more commonly, like, associated with being on a factory roster, but a lot of gold drivers are as well. Two of PPM's 963 drivers from this past year are, and yes, I'm counting Lauren because he did one race. Lauren Heinrich and Julian Andlauer are both gold ranked drivers. So you can compete at the absolute highest level in sports cars and be a gold ranked driver. You are just as much of a professional driver as any of the platinum ranked guys.
Yeah, like, well, we had a gold rated guy winning Le Mans overall this year, so whoopee, that's talk about highest level.
Yeah. And we have silvers and 963s too, because Nico Pino is, an example of that too. So, like, truly, this specifically gold platinum, it's not really much of a hindrance there. It's more so you do kind of, with platinum guys, usually expect that means they are a works driver, but it doesn't necessarily guarantee that they are. And then another case of just, like, being a silver can work out for you. Connor Zilish, he's a silver. He's tested a GTP car, was supposed to test a hypercar, but, with the way points are and NASCAR playoffs, that didn't really work out, but the opportunity was there. He's competed in GTD Pro, and he's competed and been a very successful driver in LMP2 as silver. So, kind of an example of silver is one of those where you could do a lot with it.
Connor is getting upgraded. I thought I remembered hearing that. Connor's getting upgraded to gold for next year. I just checked on the website.
Oh yeah, you know what? Yeah.
Honestly, I forgot that.
But
that was a huge part of why people were mad that he wasn't able to do the because you said hypercars, and I was like, man, I remember somebody saying something about his categorization when he was denied that rookie test in Bahrain, and it's because, yes, he's a silver now, but he is slated to upgrade on January 1st to being a gold. There is no reason that a soon-to-be gold-ranked driver should be ineligible for a hypercar
test.
So
that was literally,
like,
now that I think about it, the whole argument
that
of
was
last
like
episode.
pretty much the main argument, but I just remembered it. But yeah,
Mine is
it's still where he right now as a silver driver did test the Cadillac
yeah,
GTP like this past weekend. So
yeah. Because in my eyes, he's still a silver. So I'm like, he's a silver.
I mean, he is still a
So, yeah.
silver until
Yeah.
January 1st. So
Yeah. So, but that's like an example of really, as a silver, you can just do a lot. So that's kind of the breakdown. It just felt easier to answer giving very specific examples.
definitely.
Well, examples make it easier for people to understand how confusing it is. But like we keep on coming back to how confusing it is, but it is confusing. Sometimes you're like, this is silly. What? But that's how it's
Yeah.
written.
I'll say none of these questions that we got were like, geez, you guys should know this. This is simple. These were all like, we had to sit down and be like, let's break these up and figure out like who wants to take what based on our knowledge strengths. Like,
Yeah.
these are not easy questions you guys asked. So like, knowing to ask the hard questions already shows a great level of knowledge from the people asking these questions. As opposed to, the people who are arguing in my comments on Twitter trying to tell me that LMP2 isn't a spec series. So it is.
It is. Very much so is.
Accept it.
Also, just, I know at least for me, when like I ask questions, getting examples makes things easier to understand.
Oh, definitely. It's like being in school again.
Oh, 100%.
Well, the moving a bit away from driver rankings and FIA categorizations to something a bit simpler. The next question from, I'm probably butchering this name, but well, I don't speak Polish. From Formula Zena, what are the crowns that you can hunt for in endurance racing? Well, that's a very interesting one. The answer is not really that complex, but still, there's three classic examples that I can think of. The first one is obviously the triple crown of endurance racing, which is the Rolex 24 at Daytona, the 12 hours of Sebring, and obviously the 24 hours of Le Mans. Reminds me of this takes me way back. This makes me think of Ken Miles almost winning the three of them in the same year, 1966,
Yeah.
but for some stupid rules and Ford being silly. Oh well. It so frustrates me when I read about it. And there's the 36 Hours of Florida, which, if you look at it, of course the Floridian would say this. Which, if you take a long, hard look at it, it's essentially two of the three legs of the Triple Crown, basically just Daytona and Sebring. Well, it's the 36 Hours of Florida because they happen in the same state, so it's a bit easier to attain than everything else. And the last one, I feel like we all need to call this the Nick Tandy.
The Tandy Slam.
Yeah, the Tandy Slam.
Yeah.
Because it's...
Wait, I should take my poster out if we're talking about Tandy.
Bring the poster forth.
Yes.
Still need to find Patrick Pile so he can sign the thing.
You'll find him.
Patrick, I'm not going to Paris to find you so I can get this signed, because that is in fact what Patrick Pile told me when I posted about how I need him to sign this. He was like, come to Paris. Yeah. I'm not going to Paris.
Casually crosses an ocean to get a signature and then come back.
Patrick, how about you come to America and do Daytona, because I will be there.
You cross the ocean.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's a bit easier, I feel. But yes, it's the Tandy Slam is basically the four most prestigious endurance races, the four most prestigious 24-hour endurance races out there, which is, of course, Daytona and Le Mans, but also the 24 hours of Nürburgring and the 24 hours of Spa. And the only one to do this so far is one and only Nick Tandy. Yeah, that's what we call him, Tandy Slam. repeating myself, and I'm silly. But yes, it's basically, I feel like the three most obviously the three more, let's say, the highest level kind of achievement you can get to is those three examples. With if you don't want to count like championships and specific, like, like the IMSA, like the North American Endurance Cup, for instance, which is basically IMSA's longest races or something along those lines.
Yeah, I think obviously the Tandy Slam, like prior to January, was one of those things that I think a lot of drivers were like, well, this may not ever happen. I know that Earl Bamber sure wished that he was the one that won the race in January because he also was capable of having that have been him.
Yeah.
He also only needed Daytona. I know that Lawrence Vantor is probably extremely upset that, BOP gave Ferrari a win at Le Mans because he would have been the second one to do it had they won Le Mans because that's the only race he has left. After the two of them, after Earl and Larry, it kind of drops off to a bunch of guys with the two legs of it. Like, there are
Yeah.
a lot of guys that have won two legs of it. I don't know if there's anybody else that is actively racing in the races you need to win that has three legs of it. I think it's just Earl and Larry.
Yeah.
Aries, you're the statistician of the show. Is it just Earl and Larry?
Yeah, is it just them? Because I'm trying to think.
Honestly, doing a mental analysis, not like my Windows 98 powered brain can do a lot tonight, but uh, it makes sense to be the two of them, and actually makes me think. I feel like Earl could have achieved this not even this year, like last year. He was fighting for the win of Daytona.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
wow, when you think it could have been done like a year earlier, and this would not be the Tandy Slam, it would be the Bam Bam Trophy or something. So
God, that was amazing, Aries. Oh my god. That's good. That is good. The Tandy Slam thing is one of the reasons I've said it before. I don't know that I believe that any of the current Porsche drivers that were in WEC this year are going to remain with Porsche long term because I think they all want to win Le Mans. And if Porsche isn't coming back to WEC until 2030 with the unified regs, I don't know that these guys who are already in their mid 30s are going to wait that long and hope that Porsche nail the regs to be able to put them in contention to win. So I fully expect Larry specifically, I mean, I would assume Kevin as well, but Larry specifically to explore programs that will give him the opportunity to win Le Mans. That's all he has to do. The only thing Lawrence Vantor has to do to be unequivocally one of the greatest endurance racing drivers ever is win Le Mans. So, I don't know that staying with Porsche is on the cards for him.
No.
So, this question we got and we were like, no idea. Like,
We were
we've
like,
been to
rough
races,
estimate.
rough estimate, right? But Dean asked, how many spare parts does the team have in case any crashes happen during free practice, qualifying, hyperpole, and races during the weekend? I would like to clarify once again, I do not work for Porsche. However, I have a friend that works for PPM, so we asked a friend of the show from PPM, and the response we got was, and I quote, for a normal non-endurance IMSA weekend, they bring a spare tub with floors, a full set of floors and side pods per car, 2 noses and tails per car, 1 set of doors per car, and 3 windscreens, plus all the miscellaneous bits that frequently get replaced. Shout out to PPM for answering our really ridiculous question for the podcast. Very cool of them.
Yes.
it's called insider information.
anybody doubt why we are so intense about PPM on this show, they are just awesome. They treat their fans just on a completely different level than I've seen. This is not going to be drinking game because I'll manage to do this without really talking about Kevin. But PPM really does treat their fans on a completely different level than just about any other team in any other series, because it's not a one-off, oh cool, you're a fan, here, let's get you a poster. It is a consistent across multiple race weekends attitude from this team. And I just think that that is such a cool attitude for them to have cultivated. And, I love it. And it's why I am such an outspoken fan of that team.
Yes, I will say it also answered even for us a lot of questions, because even from the race weekends that we go to, we have watched them unload the car and all the bits and pieces. And there was one time at Petit, we saw them unloading. We were like, why are there so many windscreens? It just felt like they kept coming out of the blue. They were just popping up. And this answers why. It's because they do in fact bring a lot.
Extras. And then Morgan, sorry, but I don't know that we have enough time to possibly explain BOP. BOP is whatever the series decides it is. Because what Morgan asked was, can y'all explain BOP to the best of your abilities? It goes over my head all the time. The problem is that both WEC and IMSA changed the way BOP worked mid-season. So, I don't even know that I can explain how BOP works, because it feels like it's just constantly changing, and it doesn't feel like it is a stable change across the season. So, yeah, it goes over our heads, too. I guess just, the one-liner on BOP is the point of BOP is to harness in the power of the cars to allow all of the cars to set similar competitive lap times.
Does it do that necessarily? Questionable.
Yeah, very questionable.
That's the very bad book answer. And I'm gonna say this as a guy who as a guy in red, as a resident boy in
benefited from BOP all season?
As a resident boy in red. Well, yes, for some reason the ACO decided we were the ones to be benefited, so
I'll say it is not Ferrari's fault that the ACO decided that they were going to have killer BOP for half the season, including Le Mans. So, that it's not their fault, but to say they didn't benefit from it, which you never do. And that's one thing that I think allows us to have a show, is all three of us have our preferences on teams, but we are still realistic about them. I think I've said multiple times that, yeah, Porsche absolutely benefited from good BOP at the beginning of the season in IMSA.
Oh, 100%.
The car number 7 threw away the title.
Oh, they did.
Perfectly okay with that outcome.
I'm not
because
over that.
I am a car number 6 fan.
I was perfectly okay with it because, 6 fan. Jam also went out of his time with Porsche as a champion, so, I will take that. We know you weren't. But I very much was.
You got to be extremely happy with your stupid orchestrated 1, 2, 3 in WEC. So
yeah.
Hey, we all got cake slices. So
we did all get cake slices. This is true.
Yes.
Don't tell that to social media people, however, because the haters seem to think that, oh my god, I am a Ferrari fan and you guys are Porsche guys, so we must absolutely have a civil war every time.
I thought you were gonna say don't say it to social media because they're going to know what the alternative to cake at 2:30 in the morning is.
Oh, we all know what that means.
If you don't understand that joke, look it up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if you are new to sports cars, you're probably going to stumble upon it a good bunch of times. So, yeah.
It's But yeah, those were our answers to the listener questions. We are willing to do more listener questions if more listeners have questions.
Yes.
So we will post about that and stuff.
Because,
Um,
as you know, we're in the off season, so there's not a lot
we
going.
are. There may be
Well,
stuff going on.
There might
We
be.
we will wait and see, but there may be some major mega stuff going on. Watch this space is what we will say.
Wink, wink. That's all you're getting.
All right, so moving on. The Macau GP was this weekend. Lauren Heinrich finished in P3. Everybody seemed to think he wasn't going to, including the wildly biased commentary team that it felt like wanted Lauren to get past the entire race.
Yes.
I have not watched a race with that bias of a commentary team. They constantly were just talking about, well, look at how much further ahead Lelo's gotten. And it's like, yes, he's getting further ahead in the part of the track where that car is faster. And then Lauren was catching him back up in the part of the track where that car is faster.
Who would have thought?
They wanted so badly, it felt like, for Lauren to not succeed. And it obviously, I am a massive Lauren Heinrich fan. We know this. Lauren knows this. Kevin knows this. Matt Campbell definitely knows this.
Matt Campbell very much so knows. Might be slightly offended.
No, I feel like he made it pretty clear at Petite that he wasn't upset with me. But yeah, everybody in the world knows that I am a huge fan of Lauren Heinrich, and I was very excited that he finished P3. And then all of social media seemed to want him to lose his P3 because, he got hit by Joel Eriksson.
Yes.
Not his fault. You get pushed into another car and the other car crashes, it is not your fault. It's the car that hit you's fault, which Joel did incur a penalty and went from 4th to whatever he ended up 7th. So yeah, not Lauren's fault. And even if it had been Lauren's fault, not Lauren's fault.
Not biased at all.
Kind of like the Nürburgring, not Kevin's fault. I don't care what the race officials said. Not Kevin's fault.
Here we go. Suddenly it's June again.
I will say, for the other Porsches, very painful race.
Yeah, it did. Honestly, what was that entire first sector? I was cringing. I was like, oh my goodness, what is going on here?
It was bad.
I almost turned the stream off, and then I realized Lauren was in 3rd, and I was like, oh, not turning the stream off. That's the driver.
I was very tempted once Alessio was out of it, that I was just like, I'm done. But I stayed.
Well, obviously I stayed. But well. So
it's another one in your favor of, the results. So.
Well. What I was going to talk about actually was not the results, but was probably the biggest topic before this weekend was the fact that Mercedes AMG were not present because of the whole.
Yes, so I couldn't hate watch Maro Engel.
You couldn't.
It was weird not having him there.
Yeah.
It was like something is missing.
Yes. Well, it was weird not having Mercedes there, honestly.
Yeah, but specifically Maro, I was just like,
because
I
make such a big deal out of hate watching him.
That is why.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm not even a Mercedes guy, but it's like they're kind of synonymous with winning Macau, and I was like, why are they not here? But obviously they were not there because they were chickens. They didn't want to deal with developing torque sensors, even though they've been running these in the WEC and in IMSA, and I think in the LMS with LMGT3, so make it make sense. In the meantime, Audi, who is kind of out of everywhere except Asian racing stuff, according to the
Yeah.
commentary team, basically pulling, they're surviving on vibes and inshallah, basically, and they were able to develop torque sensors, like I think it was Audi Sport Asia that developed the torque sensors so they could run. Well, and
Makes sense.
they were there. So, can somebody make some sense out of this? Like, hello, Mercedes, what are you thinking? Or rather, why are you not thinking rationally?
Great question. I don't know. I don't even know if Mercedes does, actually.
It's Monday, November 17th.
But yeah,
So the massive news of the day is that Porsche has announced they're going to field a second Formula E team for the 2026-2027 season, which is next season, not the one that's just about to start. And the internet has opinions.
We have
Lots
opinions.
of opinions.
it's been
I
wild.
mean, I understand. I understand the decision. I don't like the decision. I don't agree with the decision. But I've heard from, like, various levels of credible sources that WEC is anywhere between 3 times and 10 times more expensive to run a full season, two-car effort, than Formula E. So if Porsche still wants to run a factory team, like, potentially keep some of the WEC PPM people employed, potentially have places to put some of their factory drivers, going to a program that is significantly cheaper than the World Endurance Championship makes sense. Now, if I were, as he was online, if I were Lawrence Vantor, I would be livid. If I were Kevin Estra, I would be livid. Like, you just took away my chance to win Le Mans, and you're doing a second Formula E team. You already have a Formula E team. You already have, customer teams in Formula E. And that kind of, what people are saying is that this is actually just, like, in-housing a customer team.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's literally basically Andretti is suspected to be moving to Nissan. So Andretti's cars are basically going to be the second Porsche team's cars, is what it is. From the understanding of how the breakdown kind of was of the announcement is how this situation is being handled. Like, no new cars are really coming out of this. It's just reallocating cars they already have. And then kind of with this, one of the big talking points I saw around it was like, who are their drivers going to be for the second team? And the understanding for a lot of people is to assume that it's going to be their rookie test drivers. Their most recent rookie test driver being Guven. If you want to go back to 2024, it's Matt Campbell. Do I want to send him to FE? No, I do not. There is also the other very funny connection of, if you look at the WEC 6 specifically, Andre and Matt both have FE experience. So obviously the answer is you're sending Kevin and Larry, despite the fact Larry really doesn't want to go. You're sending them to FE to continue the string of WEC 6 drivers getting experience in FE.
I mean, if you want to extend that even further, Pascal Wehrlein drove the 6 this year, and he
I didn't think about it.
is the champion.
I kind of forgot about him, to be honest.
Yes. Yeah. He, in fact, is a Porsche FE driver and drove in car number 6 at Spa. So, yes. One thing that I thought of, and this is like very connecting dots that probably don't need to be connected, is Dorian Penn is part of the Iron Dames program. The Iron Dames program is semi-officially associated with Porsche. They obviously are running Porsches, but they have more of a connection than just being a customer team. She has made it extremely clear that she would prefer to stay on an open wheel track rather than going back to sports cars. Could one of these Formula E seats be a way to get her to stay on an open wheel track?
I wouldn't count it out. Also, in that line, I wouldn't count out for like the women's tests too that they run. That being a possibility, looking there too at who they've used in that. So,
yeah, I guess my final thoughts about the whole FE thing is like, yes, Porsche is a race car brand, but ultimately they are a car manufacturing corporation. And the point of a corporation is to make money. So Porsche having a $1.1 billion operating loss this year so far means that changes had to be made. I don't agree with or support the change that was made, but I am not in charge of that. I am not on the board of directors for Porsche. I don't have any weight in what happens, but the fact that they are expanding in any aspect of racing means that they are not planning on pulling an Audi, in my opinion, and trying to get out of all racing. And I know Audi is re-entering racing on a major scale with Formula One, but there was a good little chunk of time where it was like, there's an Audi here, there's an Audi there, and I don't want to see Porsche go down that road. If that means that Porsche is going to run various GT cars and Formula E, then so be it. I mean, to keep Porsche operating as a racing brand, they need to do what they need to do, and if that's downsizing, that's downsizing. Keep in mind also that Manthey is, while not being run as Porsche GT, Porsche owned Manthey. So Manthey is essentially a factory team. The expansion of Manthey into the US with 2 cars in IMSA does show, again, a commitment to racing. And I would love it if the drivers I like stayed Porsche drivers forever. I don't know if that's going to happen, but I hope it will.
yeah. At the end of the day, it's a business. You gotta do what you gotta do to keep the business afloat. And sometimes you may not, as a fan, like those decisions, especially because it can impact your drivers, but that's how business works. You're not always going to be happy with the results.
Thanks for listening. You can find us on Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram at Orange Flag Pod. On Twitter, Nicole is at Nicole on Racing, Auston is at Hendrik Claren, and Aries is at Aries_Alpenglow.
Stay orange.